The report has expanded substantially, and a lot of it is detail within individual chapters, but we also added some new chapters. And so in hopefully relatively short order, I'll give an overview of the material that we've covered in some of those new chapters. So again, one of the purposes of the new report is to provide more reference material, more educational material that will hopefully be of use to a number of different audiences. We've done a couple of things like separating out some of the production types. So for example, in the 1994 report, there was a single chapter on chickens, and we've broken that out into broilers, broiler breeders, and layers. We've added some chapters that are completely new. We've added a substantial amount of depth to some of the chapters, or at least some of the topics that were covered in the 1994 report. So again, this is going to be a very cursory overview because there's a lot of material to cover. So we have a chapter on non-nutritive feed additives, which is largely an overview of the current major categories. And so it's not that this is an exhaustive list. It's a rapidly changing field. And so because the efficacy and the available products are changing on a continual basis, the intent was to give an overview of some of the major categories. So things like enzymes, we've talked a little bit about how the context of enzymes can change how we meet the nutrient requirements of birds. It changes, they can change the bioavailability of nutrients within ingredients and also different supplemental forms. Organic acids, of course, with the removal of growth-promoting antibiotics, there's a lot of products that are being used as alternatives to antibiotics, including organic acids, which have fairly strong support for changing microbiomes in order to support gut health. There are various compounds or various additives that can be used to modify or protect feed and nutrient quality, things like antioxidants, mycotoxin binders, pellet binders, and so on. Probiotics or direct-fed microbials, prebiotics, which are usually added to promote hindgut fermentation and gut health in that way. Essential oils, lipid products, volatile lipid products that often have antioxidant and antibacterial properties, and also pigmenters. Some added for antioxidant effects, some added for marketing effects. There's also a new chapter on digestibility and bioavailability. Bill has already talked about the importance of standardized procedures, proper experimental design, proper data analysis and interpretation. In this chapter, we also talk a little bit more about defining a phosphorus system. Although we don't have enough data to really feel comfortable to use it in all cases, the pre-Sequel digestible phosphorus, the WPSA methodology with ongoing refinements was identified as a good way of assessing the usefulness of the phosphorus that's contained within feed ingredients. Of course, recognizing that in practical diets there are a lot of confounding effects. Mike talked about a digestible calcium system. Again, up until recently, we haven't seen much data on this, and so although we would have loved to include digestible calcium requirements, it just isn't possible. But this has been identified as a need going forward. And then the concept of amino acid digestibility versus bioavailability is important to keep in mind as well. And Gonzalo, of course, talked about apparent metabolizable energy, some of the challenges associated with that, and ultimately whether or not it's practical at this point to move forward to a net energy system. So there are benefits and there are limitations, but these are some of the issues that were identified in this chapter. Feed processing, a fairly cursory overview of different techniques. Feed processing, of course, is just basically treatment or manipulating feed to optimize nutrient utilization. And there are a number of different goals that we're hoping to achieve, increasing basically the nutrients that are usable by the bird, either through increased feed intake or gastrointestinal tract function or digestibility, and so on. The basics include grinding, mixing, and then various hydrothermal processes. And we also have to keep in mind that, particularly with the heat treatments, there can be some potential negative effects on nutrients. A new chapter on nutrient excretion in the environment. There are basically 5 ways to reduce the environmental nutrient pollution, but the one that nutritionists really have an opportunity to utilize to achieve this, to reduce nutrient excretion, basically is to increase the efficiency of nutrient utilization. So meaning more of the nutrients that we feed, or a greater proportion of the nutrients that we feed, are going to end up in the products. And particular focus for these efforts would be nitrogen, various minerals, not all minerals, but various minerals like copper and zinc, and also greenhouse gases. And of course, phosphorus for minerals as well. So basically what we want to do is we want to better align the bioavailable nutrients that we provide with the actual requirements. So there's 2 sides to that. One is understanding the nutrient requirements of the animals so that we can do a better job of meeting those needs. And second of all, having a better understanding of the feed that we're actually providing to them. And when we put those 2 together, good feed, good knowledge of the nutrient requirements, good feed formulation, and good knowledge of our ingredients, we can more closely meet that. And also, we can increase nutrient digestibility. So again, this often ties into processing. I'm not sure what happened there, but nutrients and environmental stressors. So when birds are undergoing various types of stress, the physiology can change. That can change the nutrient requirements. That can cause maldigestion and malabsorption. It can increase nutrient utilization for particular purposes. It can increase nutrient losses and can increase cell turnover. So with all of these things, basically we're providing less of the nutrients to the birds for their use. There are various conditions that can cause stress, things like housing conditions like high stocking density, high or low temperature, high humidity, poor ventilation, inappropriate supply of light, ammonia, and so on. There can be dietary factors, toxins and anti-nutritional factors that can cause physiological stress to the birds. And near and dear to the hearts of several of us on the committee are the effects of immune activation and particularly inflammation. So the gut, the digestive tract, is really one of the major immune organs in the body. There can be local effects that interfere with nutrient utilization, but also systemic effects that cause inefficient use of nutrients that are absorbed as well. And this is becoming more important, or has become more important, in large part because of the decreased use of antibiotics, particularly in meat-type birds. So this chapter gives an overview of the interrelationship between nutrient utilization, nutrient absorption, and environmental stressors. We have a chapter that's been added on nutritional quality of products. Mike mentioned that growth is maybe not the most sensitive or the ideal criteria to use in order to determine nutrient requirements. So we've got a chapter on nutritional quality of products. There's a lot of good basic information on poultry products in terms of nutrient content, just of your typical commodity ingredients. But also there's a fair bit of attention devoted to how we can use diet to manipulate the nutrient content or the nutrient quality of poultry meat and eggs. And 2 particular examples are lipids. We can change the saturated, monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fatty acid levels in products. We can use diet to manipulate the omega-3 to omega-6 amounts and ratios in our products. And we can also supplement with antioxidants. And then vitamins and minerals, particularly in eggs. Okay, the last chapter, in the little bit of time that I have left, the last chapter is on ingredients. and was alluded to earlier, this is important because there is, of course, variability in nutrient composition of the same ingredient over time or across geography. There can be variable effects of anti-nutritional factors, and so one of the places that nutritionists often go is an ingredient composition database. 30 years ago in the previous report, there were tables and lists of ingredients. We have taken those out of the current report because we are accessing and taking advantage of the National Animal Nutrition Program database. I'm running short on time, so I just encourage you to visit the website. This is the source, or this is the location of the ingredient composition information for the current NASM report. So it's up to date. It's based on a huge number of records from across many different species. It allows easy conversion from dry matter to as is. And it is a very user-friendly approach. And you can use filters. You can screen for commercial labs or academic labs and so on. And also there's a web-based and mobile-friendly display to it. So just very quickly, with the last couple minutes that I have, this is what the landing page looks like. And you can go in and select a category. So you can select byproducts and others. Within that, you can choose particular ingredients. You can look at the particular subcategory within an ingredient, and then you can use various filters to find the information that you're looking for, and it provides very, very detailed information on most, if not all, of the nutrient categories. Some ingredients have more data than others, but I've used this. It's very helpful, and I would encourage you to do that as well. So the new NASM report is much more comprehensive than the previous 1994 NRC. There's a lot of depth that's been added to additional chapters that currently existed, and we've also added some dedicated chapters for some important topics. And then I really want to stress again the evergreen nutrient composition data via the National Animal Nutrition Program. And hopefully this is going to provide a much more thorough source of reliable information to the poultry nutrition community. So thank you very much.